Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. Sparky Coach Pod, Crowe here, coming at ya for the Crowe Show. Self-appointed and self-anointed own segment. What a time. What a time to be alive. Talking today about the mid-year reset. I know it's not really the middle of the year. It's not far from... What is the middle of the year? It's sort of, what is it, May the 4th? Oh, Star Wars, May the 4th be with you. What a time. Just talking today about the mid-year reset. Basically, how can you, sometimes you can start the year really well and, you can start things really well. And as I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get these plans in place and put these wheels in motion and put this train back on the track. I'm going to turn this damn bus around. Chris Farley style. And you got all these good intentions, and that's fantastic. And we do need to be setting goals. And as the French writer says, a dream without a plan is just a wish. So if you don't have some sort of plan, you can end up somewhere, and it might not be where you want it to be. So you do need to have sort of train tracks where it's like, this is what I want to do. I don't know, it can't be set in stone, but it might be pretty close to what I want to achieve. And it's going to be somewhere in the make money, build wealth, be kind realm. That's pretty. You want to make money. You want to, keep a whole bunch of what's coming in. And our mantra here is a market wage. So what could you achieve for someone else, and a business net profit between 20 and 35%. 35% being an incredible result, and 20 being incredible too, depending on what revenue you're moving. Obviously, 20% of a higher number is a higher number. And so if you're moving 20% at 10 million, I don't know anyone that's going to be unhappy with that. And if you're moving 35% at 500 grand, you might be like, you know what, I need some more juice in the cup because I'm a godsend weapon on the tools. So we start like that. That's what we want, somewhere in that, like, make money and building wealth. And I think every year on year, you should be building wealth. And whether for you that's getting into more debt or getting out of debt, it's going to depend on where you're at. But I'd encourage you, year on year, you should be building your wealth. You really should be having a plan there. Speak to a financial advisor and get some sort of thing in place where it's like, here's my goals. I want to get a personal property, commercial property. I want to get an investment property. I want to chuck X amount into the S&P index. Like, you need something. I really feel you need something. You don't want to be just pissing in the wind and working out just working out too late. I really think you need to put your head out of the sand and into all that stuff. And you need to be being kind, because along the way, what is life about? What is business about? It's about relationships, really, isn't it? And in there, you can almost argue you've got a relationship with money, which may or may not need to be reinvented and considered depending on how you look at money. And you got a relationship with your staff, with your clients, with yourself. Fire out. There's no self-development tool quite like running a business. It's nothing to show you your shortcomings, your shortfalls, your insecurities, your ego. For me, it's just been such a huge journey of personal development. And you've got in there potential partner, marriage, kids, and your relationship with that and what that looks like. Your relationship with time. Do you feel that you can just sink 12 to 15 hours a day into the business and I'm going to do what I'm going to do? And that's cool if it's got an end point. And that's cool if it's profitable, but you see too many people sinking a whole lot of time and money and energy into the business, and it's not producing the money it should, and it's not healthy, and we just keep reinvesting into this unhealthy. We keep watering the weeds, and we're watering the weeds, and we're like, why is my house covered in weeds? Where's my orange tree? Where's my lemon tree? Where's my tomatoes? Where's my strawberries? And it's like, well, they can't coexist with this level of weed activity. So we need to weed the garden. And it's not a fast process. And I think too many people in our generation, you can just look up anything you want on your phone, anything you want on the internet at any time and get an answer. And we just want the food and we want it now. We want the money, we want it now. We want the wealth, we want it now. And any of the big dogs all talk about the same thing. It's seed, time, and harvest. It's you start with little seed and you water it, and you water the right things, and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows until one point it's like, I'm so happy I watered the right thing 20 years ago. I'm so happy I bought that property 15 years ago. I'm so happy I invested 20 years ago. I'm so happy I put this money here. I'm so happy I employed the right person at that point. I'm so happy that I made the right decision 15, 20 years ago. And too many of us want a quick result. And a lot of things take time, and a lot of things of substance take time. So it's just basically slowing down to speed up sometimes. You know, if you stay on a train too long, you might end up somewhere where you never planned to be, never wanted to be, never thought you'd be, and all of a sudden you got to get the train back. And it's like, well, fire, we wish I had to slow down. So in the sort of goal-setting reset, we're trying to slow down to speed up. We're trying to take an hour out of your business. And if you can't take an hour out of your business, you know, if you can't take... The Bruce Springsteen quote comes to mind, you know, you can't start a fire worried about your little world falling apart. And I remember for me, I remember being so stressed and so busy and so manic, and I'm drinking 4 to 6 large lattes, just pouring them over my head, just driving around in circles, being really busy. And I remember Elodie once said to me, I was like, I'm so busy, and she's just like, and many of you would have heard me say this before, she was like, you run a small electrical business in a small town for a small group of people, and you know, you need to pull yourself in a line. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you belittle my small business? Anyway, so it was a really big eye-opener going like, yeah, it shouldn't be that stressful. And I'm not saying it doesn't get stressful, but if you're running on empty, if you're running on cortisol, if you're running with nothing left in the tank, if you're running on empty consistently for 5 or 10 years, that's going to take a huge toll on you emotionally, a huge toll on your family, a huge toll on your profitability. The amount of people slowing down to check some numbers to be like, holy crap, I just got an extra 15% net profit, 5% net profit, 10% net profit because I cared to double check things. And sometimes you really got to slow down and speed up. So I think I'm speaking to 2 groups of people here. One is you wrote some goals down at the start of the year and it's time to double check. Do they need to be increased? They need to be stabilized? They need to be revisited? Do we need to check in? And the other set of people are just like, you didn't set any goals. That's cool. That's cool. And if you don't set any goals, you just might end up somewhere where you never intended to be. Like if you, there's no end to being busy. There's no end to hard work. There's no end to long hours. And most of us, the thing is, most of us go like, well, I don't know what I want. And I don't know what I want. And sometimes I agree. It's like, it's really hard. Well, what do you want? And I think it's interesting because sometimes we've got to start at the end and be like, well, what don't you want? So if you can't work out what you do want, it's like, it's a bit confusing. I don't really know. What do I shoot for? Do I shoot for the moon and hit the stars? Do I shoot for the stars and hit the moon? Do I shoot for the full moon and turn into a werewolf? I don't know. Oh, crazy. Maybe. I don't know. I'm so confused. But most of us, while we can't articulate what we do want, you can articulate what you don't want. I wrote a list out. Here's what you don't want. You don't want to work crazy long hours. You don't want to make no money. You don't want to work with the wrong staff members. You don't want to work with the wrong clients. You don't want to lose good staff members. You don't want to do average work. You don't want to open the computer every night. That's just to name a couple. The list would probably go on and on like a scroll. Roll the scroll out. Here's everything that I don't want to be. I don't want this business to cost me my financial freedom. I don't want this business. I don't want to be earning less than I could be for someone else on wages. I don't want this business to cost me my time with my kids. I don't want this business to cost me my relationship. I don't want this business to lose me the house. Most of us can be like, this is what I don't want to happen. So write that out. And then what's the opposite? Here you go. What do you want to do? I do want to work less hours. Cool. I do want to make more money. I do want to employ the right staff. I do want to work for the right clients. I do want to retain good staff. I do want to price effectively. I do want to know my numbers. I do want to retain the right clients. I do want to, get this, lose the wrong clients. I do want to lose the wrong clients. Too many of us are barking up a tree and the tree sucks. And you're chasing all this kind of work and putting all this effort and energy into the 20% of clients that are really not ideal. And if you took your time, energy, effort, money and put it in, and headspace, and put it into clients that actually cared about you, that actually wanted what's best for you. And there's clients out there that do. It's got to be a two-way street. You've got to want what's best for the client, and they've got to want what's best for you. This is why I've never had any dramas working with friends and family, because if you both have each other's best interests at heart, that should be a beautiful relationship. And, you know, I was reflecting upon Sparky Coach, and we are almost 3 years old. Super cool. And I would say all the clients have become friends of mine. And I love that, because we're partnering together to see their business thrive, not just survive, but thrive. You know that's good because it rhymes. Anything that rhymes is good. So you can work out, like, you know, what you do want. You want to lose the wrong clients. I said that. And you want to automate and script the generic items. You don't want to be pushing nuts hard. You want to recognize the season you're in. I was speaking to someone yesterday who shall remain nameless. One of our members, one of my friends, member turned friend. I don't even know what way you want to call that, but I would say we work really, really well together, and his business has come a long way. And we're basically just chatting about the seasons of life and the seasons of business. And you've got to recognize what season you're in. And sometimes you can carry almost, I'm struggling to articulate it, almost a hangover of a season. Like, the best reference is, like, I had a newborn baby and it needed a whole bunch of attention. I haven't slept. And it's sometimes you can be, oh, I'm so tired. What? Oh, yeah, babe. And it's like, oh, well, I don't even have a newborn anymore. I've got a 6 and an 8-year-old. Like, I'm sleeping through the night every single night, but I'm still carrying the residue of my old season into my new season. And sometimes in business, you can still carry residue from old clients or old staff members or old mistakes or old ways you used to open the computer every single night. You used to get up at 4 a.m. and I'd get home at 12 a.m. and I'd be hacking the mainframe and I'd be sleeping for an hour, waking up and I'm roughing in something at 6 a.m. and I'm going turbo psycho. And sometimes if you've been in that season and you're out of that season now, you can still be living or acting like, oh, I'm just working so much. I remember one day for me, I remember going like, oh, I just work so much. And I'm like, wait, I'm not actually working that much. Like, I'm probably doing my 40 hours a week. And so, okay, so why do I feel like I'm working so much? Oh, that's the past season that I'm still hanging on to. And you've got to recognize the seasons of business. You would have heard me, the avid listeners of the pod would have heard me talk about the Sparky Coach startup. It's so interesting because I started Sparky Coach with kids, with Cam, obviously, but with kids. And I started Crowe Electrical with no kids. And I would argue almost with kids, you know, sometimes you compartmentalize it and be like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I just had all the time in the world. And to some extent, yes. And to some extent, no, because the amount of floundering you can do when there's no real deadline on things is crazy. There's no end to just wandering. But when you've got to be home for dinner at 4 o'clock or putting the kids down at 7, you've got these sort of deadlines. And it's like, well, actually, my 8 hours today, it's critical to the survival of the company, but it's critical to me to be home at 3:37 or 4:37 or 5:37, or me, it's critical to me being at that school event. That's really important to me. So I've got less time, so I'm going to have to be more effective. I'm going to have to be more efficient. I'm going to have to be better in that small amount of time. And sometimes that can put a really healthy pressure on. And I think for us, starting Sparky Coach has been such a beautiful journey of just hard work and smart work. And we put in a lot of hours to get to this point. And it's interesting, you know, you would have heard me talk before, like when we first started, I was working every Tuesday and Thursday night till probably 10. Sometimes I'd have back-to-back sessions from, it's psycho to think about. Sometimes I have like 12 or 14 hours of back-to-back one-on-one sessions. So I have a high level of output, ability to high-level output, but that's a lot. It's a lot of time, energy, effort. There's a lot of like fronting up consistently. And I remember like, so after a year, I dropped back to I dropped one day and back to one night. And then now I don't do any nights. And that's, I earned that. And the business is sort of thriving because of that. And because of the hard work, but because of the smart work, it's about, no, my time is up, I'm stepping back now. So I say that to say, what season are you in? What season are you in? Do you know what season? Are you in that it's a sweaty startup. It's a newborn baby. It needs my attention. I'm going to have to sacrifice. Now, a lot of people won't sacrifice. They'll draw out the sacrificial time. And it's too long. It's like this sacrifice time can either go for 6 to 12 months or for 5 years. Like, you're better off kind of ripping the Band-Aid off and getting it done. And you might be like, no, I'm unwilling to sacrifice. But you got to recognize the season you're in. And a lot of times there's external factors that dictate that season. Do you need money? In that case, you'll be sweating all over the shop just starting out. Like, do you have a partner to consider? Do you have kids to consider? Do you have a business partner to consider? In some ways, business partnership is the root of all evil. And in other ways, it's the root of all good, because, you know, the two of you together. I was speaking to a business owner the other day who has a business partner, and he was like, oh, we're 5 years in and we've done this. And I'm like, yeah, because you've got a business partner. There's two of you that have invested that same sweaty startup for 3 to 5 years, and you've exploded out of the gates because it's basically 2 to 3 times advanced you. And it can really propel you. But I would say choose your partner wisely. That's probably a topic for another day. But it's so interesting when you can work out what season are you in. Are you in a season that demands more attention? Are you in a season that you need to put in some extra additional overtime? Are you in a season where you're not working that hard, but you're not working that smart either? You're still feeling the residue of the past season. So now you got to take an hour, grab a coffee, and reset. If you can't take an hour, if you're worried your little world's going to fall apart because you took an hour out of the business to invest into the business, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. You need to take your 1 or 2 hours, go grab a coffee, grab a schnitzel, grab a beer, grab kombucha, grab something, and sit there and be like, where am I at? What season am I in? What's my next season? Do I need to invest time? Do I need to invest money? What do I need to invest into in the next season? Do I need to invest in myself? Do I need to grow? Does someone in the team need to grow? What season are you in and what season are you heading into? So interesting. But at a high level, so in the reset, so getting back on track and staying focused via the mid-year reset, which is this. Take an hour, go look at your goals. Now, the high-level goals are always going to be something like, I need to generate revenue, I need to drive profits, I need to control my time. You need 3 of them. There's no point generating a lot of revenue if you're not making money, and there's no point driving a lot of profit if you're losing clients or if you're working 100 hours a week. That has no end date. So it's like we want those 3 things in there. So at a higher level, you want to always be generating revenue, you want to be driving profits, and you want to be controlling your time. Now, for some of you, you're listening to this and you feel this sort of inkling, and it's like you need to go to 4 days a week. For some of you, the most effective and efficient and productive and profitable thing you can do is take your hours from 40 to 32 or from 32 to 24. Now it's going to force you to do more with the current time you've got, but also you're gonna read more, you're gonna invest in yourself more, you're going to surf more, you're going to do all this stuff, you're gonna spend more time with the family, you're gonna be able to coach soccer. Like, that's incredibly important for headspace. When your business starts generating a fair bit of revenue, and you need headspace. It's this stuff of swimming or surfing or exercising or time with the family, time with the kids, being bed, bath, dinner, bed, bath, and beyond, as they say. That's not a luxury. That's a necessity for your headspace and for you to thrive. And there's no point your business thriving if it costs you yourself and it costs you your family. I don't know anyone that's going to take that trade. If I said to you, hey, you can have this awesome business, but your marriage will fail, or you will have zero relationship with your kids when they get to, you'll be like, I don't want that. Like, that's what I don't want. I was trying to not make that happen. That's the antithesis of what I want. So you got to drive it from the top, but generate revenue, drive profits, control your time. So for some of you, it's going to be, I need to take a step back to take a step forward. I need to set my work hours. I'm going to go 7 till 5, 7 till 3, 7 till 4, 8 till 5, 9 till 4. I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. So for some of you, it's like, I'm going to be on site, but I'm going to do Tuesday nights. Instead of opening the computer every single night like I'm a robot, I am going to open the computer one night. Instead of opening the computer one night because I'm absolutely cooked, I'm going to do it on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, for a season. There's seasons of your life, but the season doesn't have to be forever. Just because you open the computer Tuesday night this season, well, maybe for next season we can be like, how do we shut it on a Tuesday night? How do I open something that's going to be inspiring for me at that point? How do I get to a bathhouse or an onsen and get nude with some people in the most PG way possible? Anyway, now I'm sidetracked on the nudity. Okay. So what do you do? It's all good to sort of dream, and this is the crux that I have with most people setting goals. And it's like you throw these nuts numbers and these nuts situations out, and they may or may not come true. And I think your goals need to be aligned with something that needs to be, here's what I want to do. And that's like, make money, build wealth, be kind. How do I do that? I need to drive revenue. I need to drive profits. I need to control my time. Cool. And then what do I do? Like, how does that change my tomorrow? How does that change me as a human? How do I get better? And I think for me, the answer is close the week, close the month, and set your work hours. That's what you do. Close the week for us is absolutely the most critical part of our program. Every single week you're working out what came in, what went out, what did I keep? Simple as that. Like, what was my break even for the week? And what did I keep out of that? Of what I kept, what was working, what wasn't working? Because majority of people have some stuff they're absolutely nailing and some stuff they are absolutely cooking on a barbecue that just sucks. This is the non-ideal barbecue. So of that, what's working? You're looking in the close of the week, you're like, what's my future workload? What's my current workload? What's my current staffing? Am I holding on? Do I need to check in with anything? You're sort of looking holistically at your schedule. You're looking at your team. You're looking at your clients. You're looking at who went where. You're looking at your apprentice to tradie ratio. You're looking at your break-even rate. You're looking at your operating expenses. You're looking at sort of like, oh, far out. If we keep doing that, we're going to be on a heater. Now, this one guy came to me, who shall remain nameless? And he was like, I don't know what to do. This is probably January this year. And I was like, sweet, I know what we need to do. We need to close the week. just do that. And so we started it. And then I was like, there's going to be a bit of seed time and harvest here. You're going to see good results on our spreadsheet. And that's not going to translate to a good close a month for probably 2 to 3 months. Like you're going to see good, but there's going to be delay in the actual sort of cash side of things because this was going to happen. You're still dealing with some bad decisions you made in the past. Anyway, we just closed out a 29% net profit month, and it's huge, and I'm so stoked because the proof's in the pudding of like most people want this complicated answer because with a complicated answer, you don't have to do anything. With a simple answer, without the way we sort of structure and work, you have to do stuff. And I'll never forget, I was sitting, I think I was a second year apprentice, and there was this, the company I was working at had employed this service guy who shall only be mentioned as a massive kook. And I remember he was trying to explain how, like, this RCD kept tripping, and he was trying to explain it to the client, and he was like, well, what goes out, and then it comes back, but not all of it comes back, but some of it comes back, and if it doesn't come back right, like it'll hit this, it'll trip, and then but don't forget, because you've got some stuff that goes out, and I'm just like, this sounds like two trains crashing into each other, and I was just like, some people want this hugely complicated stuff. They want this hugely complicated. They want all this noise, because with the noise becomes like, you don't have to do anything with noise. But if it's like, hey, there's a reason this is tripping, we're going to look into it. Sweet, we're going to find it. I love that electrical works on facts only. If old mate Service Lord had just not tried to come up with this pie in the sky solution about why this thing's tripping, and just went, hey, it's tripping for a reason. Here's our structure. Like, we're going to replace the RCBO first. Now we're going to dive into this. Now we're going to dive into it's a fault find. You're fault finding because something's not right. And it's the same thing with your finances. If something's not right, you got to fault find. Where did it go wrong? Was it on the operating expenses side? Was it on the admin side? Was it on the gross profit side? Was it on the cost of goods sold, the labor and materials? Did I not get enough revenue? Where was it? It can only be in one of 7 spots, 5 spots, depending on how you look at it. So where is it? We'll find it. That's what you got to do. But you got to slow down and speed up. So closing the week is such a critical just part of grabbing a coffee, sitting down, slowing down. How's everything going? How is it going? It's an independent commission into your job management software, an independent commission into your Xero, and you will find your money and you will find the answers if you slow down and check it. So if you close the week, which is what we do here, if you close a month quiz every single month, what actually happened in the business? Now, you can hide from 1 or 2 months, but you can't hide from 6 to 12 months. There's just no way. If you did those 2 things and you set and achieve 1 to 5 items every single week, you won't even know yourself in 12 months' time. The thing is, will you slow down to speed up? Are you just going to keep going turbo? Some of you are driving like you're on a highway, you're in a 50 zone. You need to slow down. So there's no end to hard work. There's no end to this stuff. Like, there's no end to not making money. There's no end to opening the computer. There's no end to working with bad people. There's no end to employing bad people. There's no end to delivering poor quality work. Like, you don't do that. Just write out what you don't want to happen. Write out what you do want to happen, and let's get after it. A dream without a plan is just a wish. So at your top level, you want to make money, build wealth, be kind. At your middle level, so what does that mean? I need to generate revenue. I need to keep some of it, drive the profits, the business profit, and I need to control my time. Okay, cool. So what does that look like for you? What season are you in? Are you in a driving revenue season? Are you in a driving profit season? Are you in a controlling your time season? Or are you in a bit of a Chinese combination plate, lazy Susan, spin around the table? Are you in a bit of a pie graph, all 3? And I really want to encourage you that you don't get that many chances in life. You really don't. And you've been given something, whether this has been ordained by the trade gods or electrical gods or an actual god or a demigod, whatever. Like, you're in this position for a reason. If you're going to stay in this business position, engage. If you're not going to engage, maybe consider stopping. Maybe go like, okay, if something you're doing right now isn't working, you need to either stop it or change it. It's very, very simple. Stop doing what you're doing or change what you're doing. And if business isn't working, maybe you should consider stopping. Or maybe you should be like, oh no, I need to change something. And if you only have those 2 options, and it's almost like a choose your own adventure book, now you'll be able to be like, no, I don't want to stop. Don't tell me to stop. You don't tell me what to do. I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. Cool, change. Or you know what? And the best people change, and they're adapting, they're checking, they're testing, they're measuring, they're implementing. They're going, oh, that sucked. Do this. Don't do that. Do this. I've done that and it works. Keep doing this. The best people can stay adaptive, they stay profitable, they stay focused, and they stay diligent, and they stay just getting the tasks done that are the most critical. I was thinking this morning, who do I like to work with personally? Like, obviously we have multiple coaches here at Sparky Coach, but who do I like to work with? Who are my favorite clients? And in some ways, picking a favorite client's like picking a favorite child. You know, it's like, it's hard, and I don't even want to say that. The people that I like working with are the people that they go, yeah, I can see what's happening. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Come back in a week or 2. I've done this, this, and this. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. If you want to drive results, you need to be motivated, driven, focused, implementing, employing good staff members, retaining good staff members, pricing very, very well, just all this kind of stuff. So my encouragement to you, where do we land this plane? We're basically saying a dream without a plan is just a wish. Stop pissing in the wind and start to work out what you actually want. If you don't know what you want, write out what you don't want. And then what you do want is the opposite of that. This is what I want. Cool. What are you going to do about it? Write out some things you can do and get it done. And consistently in life and business, in your personal life and your business life, you're going to have to reset. You're going to have to be like, hey, what I did this morning, it's not great. I need to change. Hey, what I've been doing the last 6 months, it's not great. I need to change. Hey, well, I need to reset. I'm going to just turn it off and back on again. That's what you need to do. Stay focused, get after it, generate revenue, drive profits, control your time, make money, build wealth, be kind, repeat, reheat. In the next, do that for 5 to 10 years, you won't even know yourself. You won't know yourself, and you'll be in a position and you'll be like, I'm so thankful that I took the time, that I pulled the handbrake up, that I double-checked that I implemented this. I'm so thankful that I stayed on that train track. I'm so thankful that I put in that work. I'm so thankful that I released that work. I'm so thankful that I set those hours. I'm so thankful I got that time with my kids. I'm so thankful I did that. That's what you want to be. on the right side of that. Get after it. Thanks for hanging out. This is the Crowe Show. We're here every week. See you soon. That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.